Good morning, everyone. Welcome for people who have just joined in. We are going to wait a few more minutes till we see people pouring in and then get started. Before we get started, maybe everybody can tell where they're joining from and what brings them here. That'll be a good start to our discussions. You can post, you should be able to post in the chat. Okay, I guess I should start. I am joining in from Vancouver, Canada. It's nice and sunny here today. And it's the start of spring, which is beautiful. I love it. Actually not start, but yeah, it's the middle of spring, but it's quite amazing. So it's nice to see a lot of people pouring in now. I know that there are people joining in from Delhi, from Toronto. I would love to hear from others and also love to hear what brings you guys here. I hope we have some more questions. Sorry about that, Ben. I'm sure summer is almost here. So from Chicago. So yeah, so we'll get started. I am here to talk about how you can simplify and automate learning design reviews and QA processes with zipBoard. My name is Bhavya Agarwal. I am the founder of zipBoard, founder and CEO as well. So pretty much, you know, you can bring on everything that all the feedback or anything that you have, any thoughts and feedback that you would have about your process, how we can improve it. In today's agenda, we will discuss zipBoard, how you can use it for design reviews, what is really zipBoard, a live demo followed by Q&A. You can keep posting your questions in the chat and I'll try and address them through the demo as well. If not, we definitely will try and address them at the end of in the Q&A session. We'll also be recording this session and you will get a recording by the end of the, hopefully by tomorrow. All right. So what really is zipBoard? zipBoard is a central secure place for all your learning design reviews, really for all content design, content reviews. Some of the advantages or things that make it easy is that you can access it from anywhere. It is cloud-based. Some of the things that also set it apart is that you can add all kind of content, not just from one authoring tool or not just HTML content or SCORM content. You can do videos, you can add PDF documents, you can add, did I say videos already? Websites, web pages, and of course, zip SCORM content. Another thing that sets it apart from all other tools out there is that you can really share feedback. All stakeholders can share feedback using annotations. So quickly marking up things and giving notes. So it makes it easy for people who are sharing feedback and also people reviewing that feedback to use it to improve the experience. Another thing that what we've seen is that when you receive feedback, you receive it in so many different places and areas, you do not know how to organize it. And that's another mess, right? Like you're putting that manually in spreadsheets. So zipBoard makes it easy to organize it directly into tasks. So prioritize it, process it into your workflow easily. So you're really very collaborative, and you're bridging the gap between that feedback that you get and the tasks that you need to do to process that feedback. Also, there is a project management aspect that we give so that you can organize your content into projects. If you're building a lot of content, you will need to organize it. You will have a different set of deliverables, different content, teams, and even like different clients or SMEs that you're working with. So you can organize them nicely into projects. And you can also securely manage all that content into versions. So if you're doing multiple versions of the same content, or within the same content, you have multiple modules, you can again have them all in one place, in one project. You can set up your own custom review cycles so that, if you want to, if you have alpha, beta, gold, or if you have some other standards that you follow, there's alpha 1, beta 1, beta 2, and whatnot. You can set them up your own way. Then we do not give you any set ways to set up review cycles. You can have your own custom review cycles. And then we also make it easy to share with internal and external stakeholders, because review requires a lot of stakeholders. So you can really share feedback and make it one place to have feedback and collaboration between internal and external stakeholders. So, the very first thing is, of course, how to get feedback and what is all that feedback about, right? When you're building content, there are just going to be so many stakeholders, and some are busy. They do not have all the time. Even if they have time, it's very hard to tell them, hey, here is the course. Can you send me the feedback? Where should I send an email? How do I tell you which slide is it on? What is the context? So what we do is we make it easy to capture feedback. So you share a link with them, with your stakeholders. They directly add comments and annotate and say, this is where I want, or this is what I think, could be different. So it's very contextual, and you do not have to manually enter things in spreadsheets or have separate emails coming in and so on. I think I skipped one. Yeah. Another thing that we do is that we make it secure storage for all your content. So what ends up happening is, when you're building content of different kinds, maybe you're doing videos, you're also creating PDF documents to support your content. You have multiple zip files or multiple web pages, and then you're also finally delivering your content in LMS. You could really put all of that in one place in a single project, rather than having to jump around, and find it in different tools or different places. Another thing that we do is make it easy to integrate workflows. What that means is that, let's say you're using a project management tool, or let's say you have your own spreadsheets that you end up using. So you can really bring all that feedback into that workflow, either using our native integrations, using APIs, or our own, like we do have like Kanban and spreadsheet views, so that you can see all that feedback easily, prioritize it, organize it, search through it, filter through all that content. So imagine, like, with all that, from the start to the end, you are saving a lot of time, because the first thing is, when you have to share feedback, your time to share feedback gets cut by almost 60%, because you are sharing feedback in context. There is all the reference. You're not keeping a spreadsheet in parallel, 2 different screens, try to enter all the details. All you have to do is, while viewing the content, make a note, and you're done. And that holds true for every stakeholder. So if you are getting feedback from 10 people, 5 people, you're saving time for all of them. And while we do that, we also automatically capture a lot of contextual details. For example, We try and understand what's the browser, what's the environment, everything, all the details that will make it easy for the development team also to know what the, where the issue is. Again, to emphasize again on the fact that, if that feedback lies in some tool which is not connected to your workflow, then it really is hard to organize that feedback, and you miss on some of the key feedback as well, right? So if it is integrated into your workflow, you can really prioritize it, you can organize it, you can think about what you need to fix first, and you can actually bring it to your development workflow, and it's not in a separate silo. You can set assignments, you can set notifications so that, things are getting timely resolved. Overall, it helps in improving content collaboration by 50 to 60% because everybody has access to the content. They can make quick notes, they can have conversations rolling inside the content. And you don't need to jump into a Zoom call for every little detail. It's all, asynchronous, but still collaborative. And another thing that you can do is you can search and filter through all that feedback faster. So it's easy to, again, process all that feedback. You know how to find it. You come back 3 months, 6 months down the line, you again can search and filter based on who reported it, where does it lie, what kind of feedback it was. Overall, it will reduce your production time. You can build a lot more content and a lot more quality content. So essentially, you can really simplify your review and QA process with zipBoard. You can get set up in a few minutes. We do not really require a huge setup. It's completely cloud-based, works out of the box if you want. We do, of course, have additional options to try and give you integrations if you need some kind of API helps, custom reports, custom features. But if you had to use the out-of-the-box solution as well, there's plenty of power in the out-of-box solution, and you can get set up in a few minutes. So I'm going to now jump into a live demo. I'm going to take a case of a Captivate course, Adobe Captivate course, but this would be true for any kind of course, and show how how you can really set up your projects, or what a project looks like, how we can set up reviews for internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, how to set up workflows, tasks, and then if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them through the demo as well. Okay, I'm going to switch windows real quick. Okay. I am hoping that this is what is appearing. zipBoard is what is appearing on everybody's screen. Gaurav, can you give me a thumbs up if that's the right screen that you're seeing?
Bhavya, we're still in the Canva.
Okay, got it. Thank you. So that's what I'm still. Let me do a new share here. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So
yeah.
Is that good? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you see here is a dashboard where you can set up all your projects. That's the full project view where each project could represent a course, a separate course, or any deliverable that you think needs to be set up for your collaborators. So once I go inside a project, there are several parts of the project. One is the area which is the tasks, all the tasks that have culminated from the feedback that has come in, and all the feedback. But mainly, this is the area where you add all the content. So what makes it interesting is that you can really add content from different type of content. So you can add a URL, which could be a web page, which could be a hosted course, or a course inside your LMS, images, videos, PDF documents, and then a SCORM zip file, or even SCORM, even zipped HTML files. So essentially, again, if you have multiple versions of same course, you can have them also. You can just rename them, name them separately, and they will all appear here. You can view them in a tile view or a list view. So I have here an Adobe Captivate Adobe Captivate course, which is actually a hosted course which I took from the internet. It's a course on COVID. I mean, ignore the information because I don't know how relevant that is, but the whole idea is that you can really add this content. I've just added this as a URL. And once you do, it's accessible to people in the project to review. Once you do click on review, what we do is we let you see this content in your browser, along with some of the tools that make it easy to review that content. So I'm able to interact with this content. I can see what, this is an earlier note that I had added. So you can see a note, but also while I'm reviewing this content, I can look at all these tools which let me annotate and draw over things and give feedback. So I'm gonna take the rectangle tool and just add a comment here. So imagine having to say the same thing in a spreadsheet. You will have to explain which slide, what exactly, which text you're talking about, what is the color you want to change to. Here, I am able to give all that reference right here. I also have a running list of all the other tasks that anybody has added to this. And so far, it's only me who has reviewed it. So I can see and I can actually switch between those with all the reference. So I can see where that context is. I can see the discussion and I know what's going on in the course, and I can continue to browse on the course. So I'm going to go back into the project view, because what has also happened is once I've added this task here, it's also added into a table view. So it's in a task with all the details and reference to that particular content. So I know where the task is, who added it. I can go in and add people, assign it to people who need to work on it, and I can add more reference. And what also we do is we take some of your environment details, like, which browser, which OS, and where was it added, so that when a developer goes in to try and fix it, and if it's a bug, they know all the information. They do not have to again send an email asking, can you tell me where it happened? Can you show it to me? Can you do a screen share? So it's all very contextual. Another thing that you can do is, and I think that's something that I could have shown earlier as well, is that you can add people as collaborators. These are people who will see every part of the project, all the content that you've added. They can see the tasks. They can see the tasks that have been added, and they can be assigned tasks. They can add more content as well. So you can simply add them using email. And if you can see here, I'm the owner, and then there are multiple collaborators added to this project. So they all can see the projects, and there are other ways also to share this content. So I'm going to get to that later. But essentially, you can add all the stakeholders that are your internal team members inside this project so that they can have a good view of all the content as well. So once I've done that, and I've also added my tasks, I can actually, there could be collaborators and people that do not want to be part of the whole project. Maybe they're not even part of, they do not have the time, or they do not want to be part of the whole project. They don't want to see everything or get overwhelmed with everything. What you can do is, for them, you can create a share link, which will only share that content with them, and they can actually add comments to that content. So even when I share that link, I have options to set it up in very many ways. So I can, if you do not want the friction of having them to sign up, you can take that away. If you want it to be behind a secure gateway, you can really set up a, you can require them to sign up. I'm going to turn that off for now. You can have them view all other people's comments, or you can have them just add their own comments so that they're not biased, or, in general, they don't want, you don't want them to see others' comments. And then you can ask them to add reviews, or you can just let them just see others' comments and not add any reviews. So depending on how you want your stakeholders to really interact with you on that particular content, you can set up a link and just share it over email or Slack or directly from here. So in fact, to show how things work, I'm going to share it with my colleagues on Slack right now so that they can add some of the comments and we can see how those comments can be processed. So I'm going to wait till these guys add some comments, but I've shared this and I've been told that I've shared a review only. So I'm going to share a link again. Okay, so I've shared this link, which will let them add comments, view even my comments, and even reply on those. So once we do get those, get that happening, I'll be able to see these comments in this view. So I'll be able to see who's added what, and I will be able to reply to them. Also, for all external stakeholders, I'll be able to see these comments in a separate table, which I can decide, okay, this has come from Nuza, what do I do? And how do I process it? Right, so I can decide, I can reply to her. And if you think this is important and something that you want to fix, you can add, and you want to add it to your workflow, you'll add it as a task, which means now you can assign it to your internal team member. Right. So you see from feedback to tasks or to your internal dev workflow, you can prioritize it, you can assign it to somebody, you can set its status. So it's all very well integrated and it fits into the workflow really quickly. So that's how really you manage your external stakeholders' feedback without having to overwhelm them with all the details of the project or having to get all this in emails or spreadsheets or anywhere else, right? Another thing that you can do is if you're using any other tools, for example, this project is synced to a Jira project. So you can really send it over to Jira. You can send this same task, or by automatic syncing as well, you can send all your tasks to Jira, all your tasks to Rike or any other tool that you're using, or use the API to pull all this information to your systems. So it makes it, again, easy to have it integrated to your complete workflow. At this point of time, I'm going to also talk about, this is what you get out of the box. Anybody can set up these projects and it's easy to just start adding content and start adding collaborators. There are other things that you can do which make it easy for teams to operate at scale. So for example, if you have multiple people who you think will be managing their own projects, you can have managers. You can set up your organization and you can have managers manage projects so that those managers, like I'm a super admin here and I have multiple admins and managers, and these managers can set up their own projects, can set up, can view the reports, can actually jump, invite collaborators. So it's easy for them to set up their own systems, set up their own processes within a project. Another thing that you can do inside a project is setting up your phases, which is really custom review cycles. So I have here 3 phases set up: design, beta, and brainstorming. And I can just set up another phase, let's say, and I call it alpha. I'm going to say that this is the active phase, and I can add. Now I can go in and add specific content to it and say any feedback coming to this content will automatically be tagged as alpha. So it's easy to track all the tasks. It's easy to take all the tasks from one review cycle to another, and you're able to see everything in either in the table view, or you can set up a Kanban view. So it's easy to move from tasks from one review cycle to another. So for example, I do not have any this is not assigned to any review cycle, so I can just move it here and say, this is part of my brainstorming phase. Or when I'm done with something, I can move from design to alpha phase. So it's easy again to see everything and to move things around in a workflow, even if you're not using any other workflow app. So it all can be organized in two different ways. You can also download this into a CSV and run your own reports if that's something that you like to do, or if you have some other CSVs or Excel sheets that you work with, so you can really consolidate all into one place. We also have some inbuilt reports where you can see in the last 7 days, in the last quarter, how many issues were filed, what were those related to, who reported them, and what kind of tags they were assigned, and you can really download them into a PDF and share it with your manager if need be. Right. You can also see these reports cumulatively across all projects, and this will be, of course, the access level would vary, but you can really see these reports and see, okay, how my projects are doing overall, how many issues. Clearly we create a lot of issues, but then we do not resolve enough. But you would have a better sense of who's working on what, how many issues are unassigned, so maybe we need to process some of those. How many people or who's actively creating more issues, and this could be external and internal collaborators again. And then what kind of issues, and and you can even add tags to your issues, so you can really understand, okay, these come from marketing, text, or whatever. If you have 20 different tags, you can really see where do majority of issues come from. So one consolidated view, again, you can download these into a PDF. You can share it with your, with your team members. You can directly present it from here as well. So I'm going to pause here and stop here, because I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the demo. I would be happy to take any questions specific to the tool. Before we do that, I'm going to again jump into my slide here and share my screen again to ask you guys a quick question. And if we're going to launch a poll here to just understand how you guys today are managing your content reviews. Are you using spreadsheets? Are you using combination of spreadsheets and review tools? And so we'll wait for people to answer. We're still waiting for people to answer this, and once we do, then I'll share the results. Okay. So we have almost 70% participation. I'm going to take it as enough to get at least something out of here. I'm going to end the poll here. I'm not sure if I can you guys see the results? Again, give me a thumbs up, Gaurav, if you can see the results here.
No.
No, okay.
Not
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly say tell myself here what I see here is that majority of people, almost 71% people here, they use a combination of spreadsheets and review tools, and the second largest set of people use spreadsheets. So I would highly encourage you to check out the board and see if it can be an easier way for you to switch between, even if you're doing a combination of spreadsheets and review tools, if it's an easier way for you to switch context and not have to do things manually. Right. Another thing that we have today is a free resource. If you've already not checked it out, we have an e-learning QA checklist, which lets you, and we're going to share the link with you in the chat. So you can really download this. This is a checklist to give you an idea of what all things, and there are just thousands of things that you have to check in an e-learning course. And you can really get a sense of what all that content is. It could be accessibility, it could be text, it could be scenarios. So you'll get a full checklist that you can download. I just want to close with also telling how some of our customers are really finding it useful to gather feedback in one place. This is John Just from Nobi4, who is the Chief Learning Officer for a security training company. And they have integrated zipBoard into their projects. And it has really made it easy for the QA team and all stakeholders to share feedback. And they're able to easily get that feedback into their workflow and make it very fast to process everything. So with that, I'm gonna open it up for questions. If there are any questions, any comments, if you want to reach out to us later for a demo, personalized demo, you can sign up, or you can just email us. You can even email at bhavya@zipboard.co, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining.